UrbanLiving. Today's guest is Miss Kim Webb. She's with us because she's a veteran, and she has a couple of projects that she would like to share with the viewing audience. How are you doing, Miss Kim?
Well, I'm doing really well.
And thank you for being here.
You're welcome. Thanks for inviting me.
Sure. Now, I wanted to get straight into the heart of the matter. I understand that that you're very passionate about women's issues and the homelessness that women experience.
Yes.
And specifically the veterans, women veterans.
Mm-hmm.
Can you help us understand what your projects are?
Okay. First, I'll give a quick background on how all of this just got started. It just got started when I returned to Philadelphia in 2021. It wasn't under the best of circumstances, and after being away from Philadelphia for so long, I had, over a decade, had been away from Philadelphia. And this is right after the pandemic. And this is 2021. And I come back to Philadelphia and I see so many homeless people and people that are mentally ill on the streets. But the one thing that hurt the most was when I saw a female on the streets. And then, to find out that she was a veteran. And I started crying. I said, this is wrong. And that was the beginning. That was the beginning. I said, well, I need to do something. And I wound up going over to the VMC, which is the Veterans Multi-Service Center.
Mm-hmm.
That's over on 4th and Race.
Mm-hmm.
And this was a place that I had been to before 10, 11 years back.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew that they helped veterans. And so I went there just to find out that they had a women's program. And the women's program is what I work with now. And it's not at the big center on 4th Street, but it's just around the corner on Lawrence Street. And it's a great bunch of women that you get a chance to interact with other veterans. And just being with them and being able to talk with them about my problems, and then me talking about homelessness. I started, just going out, and if I saw someone that looked like they were a veteran, I would just say, are you getting your benefits? And they would say, oh, yes or no, or the big one, they would say, oh, I'm not a veteran. And I said, well, did you do any time in the military? Oh, yes, but I'm not really a veteran. And so that kind of got it started. And I would say, well, you are a veteran and you have a lot of benefits and you need to go over to the VA and sign up.
Okay, I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
What I understand, you're saying that you returned to the Philadelphia area after decades.
Mm-hmm.
And when you returned, you saw a person on the street, a lady.
Yes.
And your heart went out to this lady.
Yes, it did.
And you found out she was a veteran.
Yeah.
And then from there, you went to the Veterans Center.
Yep.
And you got involved in the program there and from there you started talking to women who are veterans, just passersby who
I went to church.
And it created a dialogue, and that's basically been your conversation.
That's been the conversation, and it happened so quickly. I went to church and with an old neighbor of mine, and she introduced me to a lady, and she said, hey, Kim, she was in the Navy. And I said, oh, and I go to her and I say, well, I said, you were in the Navy? She said, yeah. I said, well, are you getting your benefits? And she said, oh, but I'm not a veteran.
Oh, okay. All right. Oh, okay. So I kept saying that.
Mm-hmm.
Do
They
you,
kept saying it.
so do you have any, what types, other than that pattern of, I guess that's a reluctance to want to speak about, because I've run into that with veterans in a limited conversation.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times they don't want to talk about their service at all.
At
And,
all.
and I have to respect their wishes, and I have
Mm-hmm.
to expect that there must be a reason for that.
It is.
Um, some was I guess war is really not
Mm-hmm.
something that you can glamorize, and some of it is just too traumatic to share.
To share.
And but
It is
others,
true.
yeah, but others are receptive, and the ones who are receptive, you can talk about benefits. Is that basically?
Yes, I found that once I, direct them to the VA, it usually is in a time of crisis. Okay, I'm getting ready to be evicted from my home. And I said, well, go over to the VA. And the programs like for housing, the HUD-VASH, I mean, a lot of people don't know about this. They don't know that they have those benefits. Those that are on the streets, they don't know that when they go into those shelters or something like that, they pretty much have all access to the VA, all the medical, everything. You're not turned away if you're homeless. If you're homeless, all those benefits are yours.
Now, when did the policy? Do you know when the policy? Because I remember a part of. Well, I wouldn't say anything about Dr. Martin Luther King's speech, but
Mm-hmm.
I will say that there was somewhat of apathy for the struggle of veterans after World War II. And then the policy changed. At what point did the policy change and the government start to say that recognize that veterans are a valuable resource, if nothing more, but for the job descriptions and that they put the effort, the work that they did for they're a valuable resource. When did the policy change to be more supportive? Because it
Well,
wasn't always like that, right?
no, very much
When did it
so,
change?
no.
Do you recall?
I don't know, but I know that
At least
the
when around or
Vietnam
about.
veterans in '75, those who returned, and see, I went in the military in 1976. So the Vietnam veterans were returning.
When you
And
went in.
when I went in, they were returning, and they were not respected in any kind of way. They were called baby killers, spit on, and everything. And even when I was going through basic training, they told us, don't wear your uniforms out, in public and stuff like that, because it depended on what was going, what kind of protesters or something was out there. So the Vietnam veterans, they were the ones that got the worst
The
treatment.
brunt of it.
And
And then when did the Desert Storm, when did Operation Desert Storm, you do recall?
now Desert Storm, I don't know when it started, but
Well,
there's
what-
a whole lot that went on that the American public don't even talk about.
Mhm.
Way before Desert Storm even happened, we have Korea. We have the axe murders in Korea, Operation Paul Bunyan. This is where I was. And then we had Honduras. These are all things that nobody heard about, that big gap. And this is a big gap of people that are falling through the system because you don't talk about it.
Honduras.
You don't talk about Korea. You don't talk about Honduras. You don't talk about those. So that's a big gap of people before you get all the way to the Gulf
Okay.
that do not get their benefits. They just don't consider themselves veterans because you're not talked about it.
They don't have anyone to talk to.
They don't have anyone to talk to, and they don't know anything about it. And this here, especially the women. I mean, how much did you know about? Did you know about?
No, not really.
Didn't know about the Women's Center over there on, what is it, 259 Lawrence Street.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, and it's a good place to to meet up and talk with other women.
The question, I wanted to ask you, what was your MOS in, what job function did you perform and work at when you were in the military? What did you do?
I was a radio
You
operator.
were radio, which means what?
Okay, a radio operator, and that's a little fun thing too. These were, excuse me, but these were jobs that were open up to women, what they call combat jobs.
Okay.
And this was an exciting time for women because the government opened up these jobs, and that put us into, like for me, it was Signal Corps.
And all the rest of us, basically, because we take for granted that everybody's work experience is the same, but it's not.
It's not.
People, a whole lot of women opt to be, especially back then, opted to be a mother or a teacher or a nurse.
Teacher or a nurse.
You know, but
The-
not right there in the trenches.
No, we weren't. When the recruiter recruited me, the first thing he said was, "Oh, this is so exciting! The Army, the Army has opened up all these things. Don't you
really
want to
did.
go?
They really
Don't you
did.
want to go airborne?" I was excited. I said, "Sign me up." You know, sign me up. He says, "Oh yes," and because I scored high in mathematics.
Wonderful.
And they said, "Oh, well then, why don't you go into what we now call IT?" It was called electronic
Wonderful.
technology. These were the beginnings of that. So this was an exciting time. This was an exciting time for women.
Definitely.
And and I thought I was one of them.
Well, you were. Now you have a job. I mean, this was back when.
75?
Yeah, you have a job. I mean, your housing is taken care of, and the chances of finding a husband are better. You know, it's a venture. So it's a lot to be grateful for. I mean, it
Yeah,
is.
I was-
There could have been some good. I mean, and it's not even supposed to be good times. It's supposed to be, you know,
Bad time.
yeah, it's war.
Yeah.
War is hell.
Yeah, and my family didn't take it well at all.
A lot of people don't. Some mothers don't even want their children to look at war movies.
No,
Let alone consider what war is really about.
No, my dad was very upset.
Well, my dad was Air Force.
Yeah.
He retired from the Air Force.
Oh, so he had no problem with you
And then
going
my mother,
in the military.
my mother didn't care either. But I wanted to ask you again, radio? What
Radio
did you,
operator.
Yeah, what is that? What is exactly
Well,
is
for
that?
what I did was what you seen in the beginnings, the antennas that went up, the cable that was run from house to house. To you see the poles outside.
Yes.
I mean, not as
The
much.
telephone poles.
The telephone poles and all that lines and
Yes.
stuff that they've done.
They had that in South Korea?
Oh yes, because we were. Matter of fact, I showed you a picture of. It was we were mobile.
Okay, so you went and repaired telephone lines in South Korea?
I repaired the radios and I ran the cables that. Okay, here inside your vehicles, the tracks, the tracks that you see the infantry going in. Inside of those are radios, and you want to be able to communicate. So you take that out there. It has the poles in it, and they run the poles up in strategic places so that the signal bounces from tower to tower to tower, which we do right now. It bounces from tower to tower. This was all mobile in 1976. What we are using right now, we were doing that in 1976.
Wow. Have you ever? Oh, okay. And you did that for the entire time that you were?
The year that I was in Korea.
Okay.
The year that I was in Korea was the year that the lieutenants were killed on the DMZ. That's that line between North
I know.
Korea and South Korea.
I'm trying to figure out who I know that said that they visited. I can't remember, someone recently. I don't know if it was President Trump or somebody was talking about
Panmunjom.
yeah.
Yeah, and that was that line. And those who know about the Korean War, they study it.
You weren't actually in that zone, were you?
I was right there.
In the zone?
I was in the zone. the zone that they say there aren't any women in. But I was there
Okay.
because I was, that new breed that was coming in. And I was the only female in my platoon. And in, like a battalion, there was actually only 13 of us. So, you got 1,000 men and 13 women. And it was different. It was definitely different. And
You were really blessed to come home, to be that far away from home, and to come back safely.
yeah.
Thank you for your service.
Well, it was different. Let's put it that way. And that's why I guess I'm so passionate about females not being recognized as soldiers.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
If you mention Korea, you say, "Oh, was you a nurse?" No, I was out in the field just like men. We were on the DMZ. We went to the front. We set up our equipment, and you sit there and you just wait. You just make sure your equipment is working so that the people that need it, is kept up.
So, do you, as a general proposition, do you see the women's attitudes being more progressive this year now, as it was just as much so as then, or are we more passive and less inclined to? Are we more confident, or are we less confident moving forward?
I think we are more confident.
Wonderful.
And I know I am.
Okay.
Because I know when I got out of the military, I never mentioned that I had been in the military. Because like I said, I had a family that was thinking there's something wrong with that girl.
Oh.
She's gonna go to Korea after they know we are going to war, and I'm gonna sign up for it. I'm going to sign up to be a combat female. My dad just said, "What is wrong with you?"
You ever heard that reminds me of a story I heard about, you ever heard the story about Douglas MacArthur? And he, I forget it, he's a general, right?
Okay.
And,
Okay.
And I don't know where he went to school. His father was in the Philippines
Okay.
when he was a little boy. And then I think he went, I don't know what school he went to, but basically in his training, he was taught that if you want to be someone, if you want to make a difference, or if you're ambitious, then you have to go where the action is. Get in the action, standing behind the wall. And that's how they're taught as generals, young men. The ones that we hear about. But that's how he was taught. And he was goes down in history as one of our best generals that we ever had. And yet he got a real chewing out by the president, because he did what he always has did. He did what he thought was the right thing as a soldier. Because I think one time it was, back, everybody wasn't so friendly. Well, anyway, they had some kind of a protesters were at some event.
All the time, yeah.
And I think they were communists. He called them communists. And I don't know if he chased them or reprimanded them, or he sent them back. And everybody else was telling them to leave him alone, but he wouldn't let them go. He was like a Doberman. He's like a shepherd, a wild shepherd, and just chased the enemy back somewhere. So needless to say, he broke up the protest, and then he got in trouble again for doing something like that. So I said all that to say that people who you have to go where the action was, and where the action was a live or die situation. So that's grace. That's grace.
And it was really weird, because they had no choice. My dad had no choice but to accept me going in the military. And then he said, "Okay, well, you can wear your pretty little uniform, and be a nurse or something like that." And I said, "Oh no, Dad, I'm combat, and I'm going to Korea." What?
Well, we're a lot better.
Yeah, he was very no, and guess what happened? I went to his unit, the unit that he was in, and that was 2nd Infantry Division. And my dad, I'm the product of him coming back from Korea.
Okay.
Okay. So.
he was in Korea as well?
He was drafted.
Okay.
And And all he wanted to do was get out of there. Okay, there was a war going on. So naturally he wanted to get out.
He did a tour, 2-year tour.
A 1-year tour, because
1 year.
hardship tours are only a 1 year.
Oh, that's a hardship because of the weather.
Hardship because you can't bring your family.
Okay, and the
And
weather is
you
very
want-
cold there too, isn't it?
It's also you're in a combat zone. You can't bring a family there.
Hardship.
That's a hardship tour. And a hardship tour is whenever you cannot bring your family. And you're in a war zone and they're ready to fight.
And so now you come home and you're passionate. Your passion becomes your feelings about where veterans are seated psychologically, emotionally, and so on and so forth.
Yeah, like I was right there. And I was told that I'm not there. I wasn't called a soldier or by my tags. Hey, girly, why don't you go and fix some coffee or, fix me this and that and everything else like that. I'm like, hey, I'm an honor graduate out of our school. I know my job. Let me do it.
What do you think about this don't they have a new role for women now? Are they in combat? Is that a new, I thought this rule that they made that they made a rule up in one of the last administrations that sounded like this would be the first time women were actually in combat. Did you hear that before?
I was like so shocked.
What was said? What was said?
Oh, well, women aren't in combat.
What was it they passed then? What did they do that was
I have
different?
no idea. I just heard it on the news, and they're saying, "Oh no, women aren't in combat." And then, luckily, just what came out just recently, World War II, the 6 888s. You heard about that movie?
No.
Oh, okay, yeah. This is the 6 888s. This is an all-female women Army Corps. They were in World War II delivering mail.
Well, why did they put the fear in us to think that for the first time, it was really a major policy shift. Somebody did a major policy, and they made it sound like women were going to be just handed a gun and sent it to the front line. That's what, not just sent at a post. I mean, like, isn't that the rule? Isn't that the rule that they could be fighting just next door to the men or something? I don't know. That sounds ridiculous. That's ridiculous.
Well, we have been fighting next to them for a long time.
But we never
World
been
War
not in the
War
trench.
One.
Not in the trench. Not
Yes, in the trenches. In the trenches. It's like everybody forgot.
Okay, is that what
about
you
the
just told
women.
me? Is that what the triple?
Yeah.
I have never in my mind visualized an American woman in a trench with a gun pointed at the enemy. Now, you're saying that we do this, or have done this, or may be coming to do this once and for
we've done it. We can even go back.
Okay, I have to do my research. I'll do my own research.
This will be perfect.
Okay, I have to see this with my own eyes.
Yeah, because you perfect. Come on over to the Women's Center. And as soon as you come in the door, there's a little strip, and it shows where women have been fighting in the wars since the Revolutionary War.
Oh, so you were saying...
I was saying, come on over to the Women's Center, and you see that little strip as soon as you come in, and it shows where women were fighting in the Revolutionary War, the Civil War, World War I, World War II, the Korean War, and bring us all the way to the future. I mean, to the present. As soon as you walk in. So come on in and let's get a history about women in the military.
A more accurate depiction.
A more accurate one, because, it's not what history has said.
Has not said, okay, so we will understand. Yeah, we have to educate. I have to educate myself on the state of reality as it really is and not what I perceive it to be. And I thank you for shedding light on the situation.
I'm so glad. I'm so glad you called me over.
And hopefully we can have you back sometime if your schedule permits.
All right, thank you.
All right.
Well, I think the best contact information is the Women Veterans Program over on 259 Lawrence Street. And the women there,
The Wellness Center.
Yes.
At the Wellness Center, okay.
Yes.
All right, and they have, there they have services for women vets. You don't have to be homeless. You can be,
You can.
you can come there and use the PCs, the electronic equipment, participate in some of the crafts and the special workshops they have, and just to generally some time to communicate with other female, with other women veterans, with other
Yes,
women.
we even have a closet, clothes, everything.
All right.